All right, I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in. All right. We do real talk around here. So the first segment, be honest, is there something in your life you quietly decided is too late for you now?
Mm,
So what we're just adding some context here. Um, you know how it is being a man, the pressure of uh accomplishments and making money, or whether you're ambitious and you just want to drive and just be the best that you can be. Sometimes we put pressure on ourselves. I'm not even gonna say unnecessary pressure because it's good to challenge yourself, but then sometimes we put pressure on ourselves with not, and it might be a blind spot to context or perspective. Let me say it that way. I think that's probably the better way I can frame it up. So when you hear that, um, thinking about yourself, what's the timeline you're measuring yourself against right now, and who actually said it?
man, that's a deep one, man. You really gotta dig down for that one, man. But I think for me, a couple things come to mind. So one is I'll dive into the more personal one. So for me, just personally, I don't know. I was just wrestling with this the other day. Not this specifically, but I was just wondering, like, because I think in the last episode I think I brought up the fact that like I enjoy and resonate with the concept of being a teacher.
Mm,
And so, and that's a majority because that's who has helped me along my path. That's who's pulled me up along my path. Teachers, in different formats, whether whether they're my direct teachers or, but just in different ways. And so for me, I don't know. I got caught up in just wondering, like, dang, like, due to my, I wasn't victim. I wasn't delving into the victimhood, but I was just wondering, like, what's my purpose? Like, do I
mm,
become a teacher? Is that my purpose? Am I too like maybe I've got what I needed to get. Maybe it's too late for me to, or maybe because of my childhood, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I didn't know what to think, and so I was just like, man, like you just kind of wondering what does it mean to? At what point do you invest in yourself versus if you say you're calling us to invest in others? But to me, I think it's about the plane, man. You can't just you got to put on your own oxygen before you try to save everybody else. If you gone, you can't help nobody. That's kind of how I look at it. And the longer you live, and the more that you pour into yourself, the more that you're able to create. And once you're no longer living, because that's I don't want to say it's easy, but that's one way of helping people. The stuff that you do while you're here, but then you mess around and create stuff that's everlasting. Like I'm listening to the Steve Jobs audio book, and it's like, man, like he wasn't perfect, but man, like I'm looking at you through an iPhone right now. So that's all I'm gonna say. But I mean that's on a personal tip. Um, I would just say professionally though, I would just say sales. There hit a point where I was just like, man, I'm going to undergrad I'm in business school. I remember I was studying management, and me and you talked, and you was like, bro, like, management's cool, nothing wrong with management, but you're probably not going to be managing things at 22, 23. And I was like, probably not. So what else can I go study that I enjoy at the school? I studied marketing. Long story short, fast forward, I become an account executive and I burn out. And I'm like, I'm feeling a lot of things. I'm feeling like a quitter, but I'm also feeling like,
mm.
but am I also neglecting my own feelings? Because I'm important too. I have a say in this matter too. I shouldn't just push down my feelings and just, you know what I'm saying? So you got to fight that quitter thing. And so, long story short, I got to the point to where I was like, I don't have to look at it as either or. Like, oh, it's too late. I gotta up and just go back to school or go to undergrad. I said, no, there's got to be a way that I can leverage all this experience. It's got to be valuable to somebody, but it's only
Yeah.
valuable to somebody if you choose to look at it through that lens.
Mm. What I've learned is our experiences, things that we experience, is our direct experience, and when you get on the other side of it and learn the lesson, move past it, and it's just a part of your, it's a part of your life, it's a part of your journey. Sometimes in life, there's opportunities to reach back and share that with others. Obviously, everyone journey is a little bit different, but when you reaching back and and sharing wisdom from experience, not theory, there's usually something applicable that a person can one nugget that they can take away and implement to still be meaningful for them, or it might even be transformational in the sense where it's something that you share with someone and it changes everything for them because maybe they had a blind spot or it gave them an aha moment, they had an inspiration, then it and maybe they were blocked mentally trying to figure it out, and then you came at the right time and you're looking, you're like, oh, I've been there, but I'm like, I was there, I remember being there. And so you tell them, and then like for them it's like, how'd you know that? You say, well, because I did it. And so it's so funny how sometimes some processes rhyme, and it reminds me of uh, universal laws of success. There's some things that happen in our life that can it's almost like a formula that will work no matter who the person is. If you put together the right sequence and actions together. Obviously, one thing that comes up is the climate, the landscape, and so sometimes it is about timing, and so it might for maybe one person it was longer, but this person it was shorter. It happened quicker, but maybe it might take you a little bit longer because of the landscape. But success principles and universal laws, they're just some things that if you do the right things in the right sequence, you will more than likely, there's a high probability. Obviously, there's no guarantees usually, but there's a high probability you're gonna be much better off than when you started. And so that's kind of where my mind goes hearing you talk about that. Um, Putting pressure on ourselves. I'm just kind of reflecting, processing out loud. You went in the direction of school, then you talked about work, and what do you think the pressure was coming from? Like, what do you think the pressure was coming from?
I think I would just say just the pressure of just survival. I think just that mentality of just like I don't know when I look at it now, survival. And the reason I say that is because to your point, it was just pressure. Like it wasn't guided pressure. It wasn't, man, I should become this. It was, man, I just hope I don't graduate and I don't got a job. Man, that's gonna suck.
Mm,
Or man, I'm gonna look crazy if I do X, Y, and Z and I don't got a job. Like, and of course, man, I don't want to. I'm gonna have bills coming up and stuff like that. How I'm paying my bills? Not, it's interesting. We talked deep lately, but I've just been learning like it's two different skill sets. One skill set is defending yourself. The other skill set is how, how do you design your life the way that you want to live it, not surviving from the boogeyman. And so, because you can play, it's like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever had that dream where you're being chased down a hill by like a big ball. Just and if the hill is endless, at some point you either gonna trip, fall, or just get tired and say screw it and just you know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna keep running forever and ever and ever. At some point you gotta click in your mind and say, let me get off of this hill. But if you condition to not ever think that way and just the hill is your life,
right.
I don't know what's gotta happen, but you gotta change it.
Yeah. Where my mind went was the pressures that we navigate, and it's something quietly that where you're like, it's too late. Sometimes you have these added pressures that we put on ourselves And sometimes you're watching social media and you might see somebody, I don't know, 20 years old, and you're like, man, they killing it. But what you don't realize is just celebrate them. Don't compare yourself to them. And maybe they might be an extreme outlier, but that doesn't mean that it can't be for you too. But sometimes what's in store for you is going to be totally different, and that's okay. And I think a lot of times people see somebody else doing something and then they switch up their whole situation and try to go jump ship and go and do that other thing. And that might not be what's best for you. That might be what's best for them, because you'll jump ship, go pursue the other thing, and you're like, why am I doing this? And,
Yeah.
and you start asking questions and you get in the middle of it and you're like, I don't even like this. Why did I even do this? And then now, to your point, now you facing, dang man, I'm gonna look like a quitter. Now you may be concerned about what people think, and it doesn't matter. Half the time people ain't checking for you like that because they kind of wrapped up in whatever they have going on, whether it be family life, internal thoughts, whatever they have going on. So a lot of times the things that we have playing in our head, it's just in your head. And then sometimes if people are judging you, hey, why you looking at me? Worry about yourself. Do you? Why you worried about what I got going on? I have to be accountable for my life. So I'm gonna pivot and do whatever I feel like I need to do for me. And then you do what you need to do. You got any last things you want to call out?
Nah, man, that's real. Like I definitely experienced that, especially in undergrad. And it's not so much that 'cause, it's not you don't want to blame people for throwing you off your course, but it's the fact of if you have a lack of direction. Like I remember I had a mentor in undergrad that I saw them going down a certain path. They were a year or two ahead of me, maybe one year ahead of me, and they were going down this path. They got the internship in that specific industry. They got the return offer and all that. So I'm just like, oh, this is the playbook. Let me just follow that. And so rather than me taking the time to really investigate and audit my own like desires and preferences, I'm just like, okay, that looks, not want to say easy, but I see it. Okay, I see that. Like I'm on this hill, like I said, I'm on that cliff, but I see an exit. And instead of thinking, what could my exit be? I'm thinking, nah, let me take that exit. And I mess around, I go into the interview. They can probably tell he not really, this is not that you posted, not that everyone's passionate about this, but like, bro, this is the top of the top. You're not interviewing against punks. Like we got to actually cut somebody. Everybody can't make it. And unfortunately, I didn't make it. And not to say that I couldn't cut it out in that industry, but again, my once I got that no, that's how you know you really like something. When you say, okay, let me get another no, let me get two more, let me get five more. I'm really about to make it happen until I get a yes. Versus, nah, actually, I didn't think I want to do that in the first place. Let me go find something else.
You might be. Are you talking yourself out of it?
Right.
And that's the way. And is that the way you coping because you took a L and it didn't feel good? Hey, it's all right to lose. That. Those are some of the best moments. But it doesn't feel like that in the moment. So don't get it twisted. um, all right. So in the comments, drop if you listening in, drop one thing that you've written off as it's too late for me. So just name it. The biggest thing that we're big on is making sure you intellectualize it, making sure you name it. Name the thing. And so drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat, and we engage with you in the chat.